On the Lindsey Beckham Show here on this lovely Wednesday morning where the temperature is finally perfect, talking about the Capitol Police Officer cases, which is something Lindsey and I have been talking about for quite a while, several months going back. Now, just to kind of recap, there's two cases out there. There's one case that's an aggravated assault that involves Officer Rhinewalt and Jeffrey Walker, which is not the case that we're really focusing on today. That's involving a man named, I think, Sinatra Jordan, if I'm not the victim in that case, or you want to call him a victim, I would call him the criminal.
I don't know that I'd call him a victim.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him really the victim. But and this case involves this one that we kind of really focused on because NBC has focused on it quite a bit. They did an article, and you can look it up in April 15th, and the title is Mississippi Officers Charged in Young Fathers Shooting Deaths. Now, if you've ever heard anything so biased in your life, I don't know that I have, especially when you're looking at the facts. So luckily, Lindsey and I early on were able to gather a bunch of information about this, and it was completely different than the way NBC had portrayed it, where this was just a nice kid that got shot down by two, essentially I think you're saying racist cops is kind of what the implication
Well, and
is.
they want you to feel sorry for him because he's set in jail for however many days they say he didn't have a trial.
No, that's the other case. This I'm talking about the Jaylen Lewis.
It's hard to keep them straight.
I know, right? Yeah, no, this guy's dead.
They're okay because they're similar.
Right. Yeah. This is the guy, but they did do that with Sinatra Jordan. That is true.
But the media tried to spin that one that way,
and it's confusing with all the spin has spun us all around.
And I do this every single time. Every single time I mix them up, I get details from one into the other one. But I mean, regardless, I don't think they should have been charged in either one of them.
No, absolutely not. And we'll try to maybe at the tail end of the show get into that. But I wanted to talk about the new stuff that came out yesterday in the Jaylen Lewis. Jaylen Lewis is dead, so he is not here anymore. He was driving a Jeep Cherokee, I believe, that night with cocaine and marijuana. Now, this is not only just speculation anymore, y'all. This is in the file. It's filed. It's public record. It's if you read this report, it's the state's evidence is that Jaylen Lewis had cocaine and marijuana in the SUV. That's the state's evidence. That's what they're using to prosecute Rhinewalt and Fredrick. Also in the state's evidence is a woman named, I believe, Selena Hayes, who Jaylen Lewis, on the night that he was killed, I guess just picked up. And they'd never met before, according to her, and they were just drinking. We can all guess what her profession probably was. I'm just going to say they just met and they were just drinking in the car. You guess. I don't know if I'd spell that one out for you. Guess what that is. So they were driving around, and then this happens. This incident happens where the police attempt to stop him. Now, he stopped at some point. He goes, and when he realizes he's done caught, as you put it, he goes and puts the car in reverse. According to Miss Hayes, who, by the way, is the Attorney General's star witness in this case, she says that he puts it in reverse, according to this report that we're reading, which I assume is factual because it's referencing the state's evidence that was turned over to the defense. And she hits Capitol Police Officers Kevin Sweeney and Chauncey Webster, who were riding together in a separate unmarked police vehicle. At that point, he puts the car in drive and then drives forward. Now, she says something to the effect of, well, I think she was trying to avoid them. Okay, well, her subjective belief here doesn't really matter at that point. Let's look at the totality of the circumstances. You got a guy with cocaine and marijuana in the car. Oh, I forgot to mention the guns. He had a gun next to him. I think two guns next to him, one in the driver console, one in the center console. And then there was an assault rifle. And by the way, Mr. Artis, who's the well-renowned FBI former special agent, retired, calls it an assault rifle before all my Second Amendment folks start attacking me for the proper usage of that. He says there's an assault rifle in the back of the car. And he then hits in reverse two cops, then puts it in drive and heads towards Rhinewalt and Fredrick. Well, what do you think he was doing there? Well, she says that he's trying to get away. Well, yeah, I mean, I figured that one. He doesn't want to stay there and get caught with all the dope and the guns. But what did Rhinewalt and Fredrick supposed to think at that point? They're thinking, well, this guy just hit two other cops. He ain't stopping. So what they do, they fire and they try to protect their lives as they should have. Now, this is the state's evidence that you're hearing. The state of Mississippi is going to put this evidence on in order to convict Rhinewalt and Fredrick. Quite frankly, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I don't know that they get past Lindsey what's called a directed verdict, and that means that the case can't proceed to the jury in simple terms. Because I mean, here, even if you take the only thing that sort of contradicts, not really contradicts, is Selena Hayes, the woman he just met moments before, who's drinking in the car, says, "Well, after he rammed the other two guys, I think he was trying to avoid them." trying to avoid them on their while he was fleeing with the dope and the guns. How are they supposed to know that? What are they supposed to say? Oh, hey, my good sir, just proceed and buckle up. That's ridiculous. So I mean, this is the most, I'm trying to even come up with the words here, most ridiculous indictment I think I've ever seen ever. I mean, and it's just, I mean, I'll put this off. If Rhinewalt and Fredrick want me to help on the defense team, I'll pay them. That's how much fun this would be to try, because this is, it's insane, Lindsey, that they would indict these guys for this, based on now that we see what the state's evidence is. And also now that we see that NBC's out there defaming these guys, or at least creating a narrative that they're racist killers. That's the way I read it. I mean, do you think they're going to print a retraction on that now? Now that they know the facts, they can clearly look up the facts. I bet they're not going to do
that. I very seriously doubt that.
So that's what we got, and part of that report also is Mr. Artis, other than quoting the expected testimony of Ms. Hayes and the state's evidence, which is all pretty huge, he says clearly in his expert opinion that the use of force was reasonable under the circumstances. I think a 6-year-old kid, not to take anything away from Mr. Artis, could hear this and say, well, if a guy is hitting your friends and drives towards you and you shoot, is that justified? Well, yeah, I'm going to say it probably is.
I mean, I feel like that's what they were taught to do.
I think so. I think we're almost, I mean, if someone's driving a car at me, or I think they are, I'm going to shoot too.
But the question here is, if this is the state's evidence and this is what they had that they want to take to trial in an attempt to convict these 2 Capitol police officers, why was this even indicted in the first place?
That I can't tell you. It's the strangest thing. I don't know how anybody looked at that. And I know I'm obviously not very objective here, because I am pro cop on this as much as you can get. But even if I wasn't, I think that there's just no way you could read this and say, okay, this amounts to they were not using a reasonable force. I mean, let's take what Ms. Hayes says. Ms. Hayes says, okay, hits the guys in reverse, the cops behind him, and then puts the car in drive. She says, well, I think he was trying to avoid them. Even if that's true, right? Then how are Rhinewalt and Fredrick supposed to know that after he just backed into the other 2 cops? How are they supposed to know that? They see this guy. And then also I would say this, the dope and the guns, that's all going to come into evidence, because that's relevant as to his intent. And his intent obviously is to get away or hit them or do something, which I think goes further to the fact that they reasonably use force to protect themselves.
I mean, even if he was trying to get away, what we know now is that he had all these substances in the car. I mean, how safe could he be driving in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
Even if he's trying to get away, there's a big chance that he could hit them and cost them their lives by trying to get away.
Yeah.
But after backing up and hitting one cop car, you would just naturally assume, if you're one of those cops standing there, that he's gunning for you.
I don't know how there's any other way you can. I think you're exactly right. I don't know there's any way you could take it other than they were doing that.
No, there's not. I mean, that's very, very clear. So I don't understand here if maybe Lynn who obviously is our AG, I don't know if she just has all of these cases because it's her job to investigate any crimes with cops, right?
Yeah, they're tasked with that, right?
Did she just feel like, hey, I've let too many off, maybe I just need to go after one in here? Or was this somebody else in her office?
I mean, I think that's a reasonable.
She wasn't really given all the facts. It doesn't make sense.
I think that's a reasonable explanation, actually, and maybe most likely what happened. As funny as that sounds, I think that, having worked in state government for a long time, a lot of times that's the way things happen.
Because she
monthly
sends out an email, and in that email, it talks about the cases that she has investigated having to deal with any sort of law enforcement. And most of all of them, she dismisses, or she finds it to be that they were in the right. Yeah, they were justified in their actions. And so I don't know if it was just like, okay, maybe I got to attempt to go after one so I don't look like I'm not being fair. I don't know, but it just doesn't make sense, because there's nothing about this that should make anyone think that those cops weren't acting as they should as law enforcement.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, I think you're right. I think that's very reasonable. And it sounds like, because it's what you just said is like real life, like real, like it doesn't, most people think, oh, well, it's the Attorney General's office. So there must have been this complex project. And I worked there, by the way, for 2 years after I was at the DA's office. Everybody thinks, oh, there's this, everybody's really, reviewing everything and having these really intelligent discussions, and decisions are very methodical. That's not what happens at all. Any elected office, and anybody in state government or any elected office or prosecution office knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes the boss doesn't even know exactly what's going on. I know when I worked for Robert Smith, he didn't know. I was the story I've told people a lot of times. So I tried. I've told you many times. James Hutto, the guy that killed the elderly woman in Clinton and then went to Alabama and killed some other people and got the death penalty on him. Well, we had gone up to Oxford to pick the jury, brought them back to Hinds County. I was about to do opening statement. I'm getting on the elevator to the courthouse, and Robert, my boss, says, "Are we seeking the death penalty in this case?" I'm like, well, actually, Robert, you're seeking the death penalty. I'm just the assistant DA. But that's a lot of times the way government works. Like, oh, really? Is that what we're doing? So, and
almost just the face of that office.
So I'm wondering, like, what was Lynn involved in this whatsoever? I'm guessing not. Now I tell you, one person, I did work for Jim Hood. If this had happened under, we'd all been, and I would have a job right now. Like, it would be really, he would have probably blown a gasket and sent
I wonder
you an
if
email
she
in all
feels
caps.
that way. Maybe she feels that way. She's probably thinking, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, if somebody's brought it enough to her attention at this point, I would hope that she'd be like, okay, we're going to go dismiss this right now, because this is crazy. But the only problem is, if you do that, then you look at it like you don't have control of your office. Like, you know what I mean? That's not good either.
But if they go in there and it is, what is it? You said earlier, when they just dismiss it before it goes to the jury.
Well, they can do, there's several things that happen.
What's it called?
Directed verdict?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Is that not going to make them look bad too?
Yeah, that would look pretty bad. That would look really bad.
So either way, Well,
I think in that portion,
they're not going to get a conviction.
I think it'd be hard to get. I know people keep saying like Hinds County, and I understand that, having tried tons and tons of cases there and how that works out. But I don't think getting 12. You've sat with me in a jury trial. Getting 12 people ain't easy. You can't get 3 people to agree on where to go to lunch. So getting 12 people to convict someone is really difficult.
You can always get me to agree on where to go to lunch.
Yeah, you can. You are.
As long
that's
as
the one time you're agreeable. You don't care ever.
As long as I don't have to make the decision.
Yeah, that's it. You're good there. But it's not easy. You got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that somebody did something. So you get 12 people to agree on this, and it's not easy. And I think that that you better have your ducks in a row when you're going to try to do that, especially on something as high profile as this. Especially when you're not only putting their life and their liberty, in jeopardy here, but heck, the kind of reputational damage these guys have taken, the kind of money I'm sure it's cost them.
Yeah.
It's been, the kind of anxiety and all that kind of stuff. Then you have pretty clear facts according to, and again, this is just not me speculating anymore, or what I heard on the street or what you did. This is me reading the report of when their expert witness says, here is what the state has given us. So this is the state's evidence that they have Selena Hayes as their star witness that for the most part corroborates Rhinewalt and Fredrick. That's it. That's what you got. Like, the only thing different is that she says, I think he was trying to avoid them after he rammed the other guys, by the way. And then he was trying to avoid them. That's the only thing that's really different. So you're going to go to trial and try to get 12 people on that. Well, let me call her, Miss Hayes here. And for her to get up there and say, yeah, I think after he rammed the guys, he was trying to just get away. I just met him, by the way, and we were drinking and doing dope, and I didn't know him. And he decided to, ram the dudes. And then I know he was trying to get, around the other 2 officers. And they must have known that too. It's ridiculous. If you're still on the jury, you're going to laugh at that. There's no way that carries any weight whatsoever. So,
what would be the alternative? What did they expect them to do? What would they do? Nothing, just stand there and get hit or shot.
I guess they could have run to the side. I don't know what they're thinking. That's a good point. Like, I don't
know what actions the AG's office believes they should have taken.
I guess, like I said, I think the way they run out of the way of the car. I guess that's the only thing.
And just go run and hide from the criminal?
Yeah.
Is that what our cops are supposed to do these days?
You're trying to get me to justify insanity. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they were supposed to do. I know what they did. They did the right thing. They shot the guy because the guy was driving towards them after he'd already hit 2 other guys. So I don't know what else you do. in that scenario. So this one, if the AG was going to do the right thing here, they'd issue a nolle pros order today, which means a dismissal order, and and just take the hits on that.
Right.
This
Just
does
kind of
not,
let it die down and settle.
yeah, because I mean, now you're going to put these guys on trial. They're going to go through a whole dang trial of this crap. They're not going to get convicted. Like, they're just not. The worst I think it would happen to be a hung jury in it. And that's not, so that's what you're going to get out of this. And then you're also, by the way, going to piss off every single cop in the state of Mississippi. Good job. That's good. I mean, I'm sure they're happy. They're like, great. Like,
yeah, I mean, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I wholeheartedly believe it. This is making it difficult to have good cops and to have people who want to go into this profession, because nobody wants a job where they could be convicted and thrown in jail for doing their job. That's already a job that's difficult to do anyway. You put your life on the line every time you walk out the door.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about, how we've been talking about the Eddie Williams case. That's kind of been the thing we've been running with. And we remembered our last episode was about the investigation of the case, and it was about Detective Kent Daniels. And I told you about when he worked for us at the Hinds County DA's office. Later, he was indicted for shaking down dope dealers. I had to explain to you what shaking down dope dealers was.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I don't know the lingo. I'm not a criminal,
And the reason I bring that up is this. Nobody has a problem with dirty cops going to prison. Like, if somebody is shaking down dope dealers or taking money, literally not one person has a problem. Nobody said, oh my God, I hate that Kent's going to jail because he shook down a dope dealer, or the other deputies that were with him. Nobody cares about that. And I think the reason I'm saying this is that I think there's this narrative like, oh, well, everybody just thinks the cops should get away with everything. That's not true. The goon squad is all in jail right now, and they should be. I mean, they should be. Like, there is no ifs, ands, buts about that. They should be in jail. Guys that shake down dope dealers and take money, go to jail. 100% behind that. The problem that I have is when you got good cops trying to do their job, trying to protect the community in a very dangerous environment, and they, oh my God, do the offense of trying to not die, and you indict them for that, and you ruin their lives. You cost them probably all. I mean, they don't make that much money. So these lawyers they're not cheap. I mean, they're not cheap. I'm not cheap. Like, I understand that it's expensive to hire a lawyer that knows what they're doing on this. It's just unbelievable. Especially something you wouldn't expect from I guess you would say the law. You guys are the law and order party, right? The Republicans, but this is not something you'd expect. I could see this from like a very liberal attorney general, but not what you would call like a conservative one. It's really kind of just really difficult to understand.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It definitely does not add up. And you're right. I mean, my party, the right,
the law and order one,
the right party, and we are the ones who are usually back the blue, back the back the cop. Y'all are the ones who want to defund the police over there. Crazy people. But I mean, yeah, it seems insane that a Republican AG in a state with a super Republican majority would go after these guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is like California. It'd be like, okay, I could see some of this happening,
and,
right?
and maybe pushback from Hinds County because it is white cops. But I don't know. It just I've racked my brain trying to figure out why.
I think there's all been this narrative about people in Hinds County don't like the cap. That's not true. Having talked to a lot of the officers and people higher up there, and people I know that are black, they're saying we love these guys. I think it's like the political elite that kind of played that thing where we don't want them, but like really, like secretly, it was like, this is good. I mean, like my neighborhood is completely safe right now, and that's because of the Capitol Police. And there's a lot of neighborhoods like that. So I think it's been such a net positive that people in the community do see that. So I really think it's a political elite thing in Hinds County, but this wasn't Hinds County doing it. Heck, I mean, Jody Owens, I'm not gonna say who told me this, from their office, they were like, we didn't do this.
I know who told you.
Yeah, okay, like just make sure people know we didn't do this. So
yeah, they didn't want this.
They did not want to mess with this. So
no, especially after
Anthony Fox.
Right. Thank you.
They didn't. So, well, we'll be back. We're going to continue talking about the Capitol Police and their unjust indictment in that case and all that on the next segment of the Lindsey Beckham Show. Stay tuned. Lindsey Beckham Show here on this lovely Wednesday, and we've already talked about the weather. I have a million times because I'm trying to fill time, but anyway, we're talking about the Capitol.
Well, we are live from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios.
It's your show. You say it.
You always forget that part.
Yeah. I'm just here to talk about the law. And we're talking about the Capitol Police officers that were indicted earlier this year, Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Fredrick, for the for manslaughter in the I don't want to call it killing,
for doing their job,
for their self-defense from the drug dealer Jaylen Lewis, who was trying to kill them. I want to put it that way, actually, because that's
didn't
what
he
the
point the
evidence
gun at them at one point?
I believe, according to what they did. Yeah,
And I mean, what we were told.
Yeah,
by someone who would know.
Yeah, that's what, and also they found the gun that corroborates that. They found a gun right next to him.
Right.
Well, 2 guns, actually. One.
So, I mean, now what are they supposed to think when they've already hit one cop car? They're coming towards you, and you see he's got a gun.
Yeah, I mean,
what are you supposed to think?
I don't know. Apparently, they're supposed to just run, duck, and cover. Like in the 60s.
That's insane.
I don't know. I mean, it's
I mean, what
nuts.
do you like to call that? A community improvement killing? Is I mean,
yeah.
I think the streets are probably safer without Jaylen.
Yes, when I was at the DA's office, we called a lot of those community improvement killings.
Sorry
to bust that one open, guys.
A little safer without this young father, as they like to call him.
One time I was trying a guy that this guy got killed, and he'd killed his like brother-in-law anyway, but the dead guy had like killed like 8-9 people. It was like this notorious gangster. And when we got done, my boss came up to me and said, well, that was a 2-for-1. I was like, yeah, I guess it was. So you look at it that way. It's a cold job, right? Or it was anyway. So, but
2-for-1.
Yes, it was a 2-for-1. He got the victim, we got him. So I got 2 of them off the streets. So that's the way you got to look at it a lot of times.
Mean, I guess the community does improve when that happens, right?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I've told you this a million times. There's victims that you're like, man, I really feel horrible for the families, and that was a good person and whatnot. But then there's a lot of people that get killed on the streets that ain't good people. Like 90% of them, just like this.
Future astronauts, rocket scientists, and
that's Clay would go with that. I'm just saying, like, from what it's a lot of times, 90% of the people that get smoked on the street are just not the best people. Like, it's just the way it is. It's not. It's not always like what you see in the movies, like some great person gets murdered and stuff. Like that's like 10% of your cases when you're an assistant DA, at least in my experience. The rest are like trying to pretend like, yeah, dude got killed in a drug deal, I feel really bad. Like it's, you got to kind of fake it a little bit. I mean, you do, like, at least I had to, and I'm just being as brutally honest as I can.
Pretend like you feel bad about it.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job. Like you just can't go around killing people. It's not that I'm avenging the death of the victim. Now, there were some cases where I did feel that way. And it was horrible that the people got killed in the way they did. That what we're doing right now with Eddie Williams is one of them. Actually, I'm not prosecuting that, but I think
Latasha Norman,
Latasha Norman, Ethel Simpson. There's several of them in my brain forever that were horrible things. And but generally, it's people like Jaylen Lewis that get killed on the street, and that's what it is. Usually by
because he chose that lifestyle.
Yeah, they chose that lifestyle, and it's usually not always by the police. It's by people that wouldn't take the measures the police would. They were just gonna kill you.
And
like, they're not gonna like think about it,
I'm sorry. I don't mind that he died had to come down to him or one of the Capitol Police officers.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
I mean, I would much rather it have been him.
I mean, it's a cost of doing business when you decide to do that kind of work. I'm not talking about being a cop, being a drug dealer. Yeah, I mean, you just like, you may get killed on the street. Maybe it's usually going to be somebody else in your line of work, occasionally in the police. But here, it wasn't like Rhinewalt and Fredrick were just going to just kill him because he was a drug dealer. They were just doing it because he was trying to run over him.
Right. It wasn't like they just decided, hey, we're going to shoot him and kill him.
No.
Because we want to.
Right.
I mean, it was clearly self-defense. No,
absolutely. It's clearly self-defense. So, but that's just that's the way, that's what happens when you are in that kind of line of work.
And he saved the state from having to fix another cop vehicle. I mean,
right.
I'm just trying to look at the positives here.
Yeah. I mean, if you go, and this report now is Jeffrey Artis' report is public record. And he talks about the interview that MBI, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, did with the woman, Selena Hayes, that's in the passenger seat of the car, that, again, to recap, had just met Jaylen Lewis, like right then, and never been in the car, never met him before. And they were
either she was coming to buy drugs or he was going to buy something from her.
That's would be my thought. One of those two things, I'm going to guess, is why. I mean, I just don't jump into cars with people I've never met and start drinking. Maybe when I was in high school, who knows? But that's not something you do. So he's talking to her now. She says that, like, okay, he did back into the other car, right? The cop where the other 2 cops were. And he put in drive, and he said that they asked her, like, do you think he was intentionally trying to run over the officers. And she said she didn't believe that. She did confirm that he was attempting to drive around the police vehicle. Okay. So she says that. Now, if you talk to Officers Sweeney and Webster, who were the two cops where he did put the car in reverse and hit their car, they told MBI that the Jeep struck their vehicle, then attempted to leave the scene by turning and trying to drive around Fredrick and Rhinewalt's police vehicle. According to the officers, this placed Fredrick and Rhinewalt in the path of the Jeep as it was moving forward. Well, that essentially means Hayes and them are saying the same thing.
Right.
He was trying to drive around, happened to be Fredrick and Rhinewalt were there in the path of that.
So how can you take one woman who's drinking and riding around with someone she just met with drugs in the car? Why are you going to take her word over 4 Capitol police officers?
Well, actually, her word here, the way I'm reading it,
kind of
corroborates. It's cooperating with it. Yeah, I mean, she's saying that. Yeah, I think he was. She's like, my subjective belief, essentially. She's not using that word. I'm using that word. Was that he wasn't intentionally trying to run them over, but she says that he was going around the car. Now, Sweeney and Webster say he was going around the car and that Rhinewalt and Fredrick were in that path. So they're saying the same thing. The only thing she's saying different is that I don't think he was intentional. Well, what do you think he was trying to do? He was trying to get around the car. They happened to be around the car. I got it. Okay. Still, that means they thought he was trying to run them over, which was pretty legitimate belief after he just hit the other car. And according to them, there's a gun that he's got, which we know that because the state turned over their evidence where he's got 3 guns in the car, an assault rifle in the back, 1 gun to his right, 1 to his left. Is that like a rap song basically? I mean, there's a
gun on my right, gun on my left.
What is the case here? What is the case here?
There's not one. It doesn't seem like there is one.
It's unbelievable. I just can't fathom how this could have happened. And it's a massive shame. You don't have now I'm actually reading a little bit more intently. The only thing different, I was wrong before. The only thing different is that she says, I don't think he was trying to run them over, but she agrees.
Was she even in her right mind though?
Well, no, I'm just saying, but even if she believes that, did she tell him hey, are you trying to run them over, Jaylen? Wait, I probably don't even know your name because I just got in the car with you.
Right.
I just never met you before. So she did obviously she knew who he was or knew his actions and knew what things he did. So she thought, but in her belief, he wasn't trying to do that. But she agrees with Sweeney and Webster that he was going around the car where Rhinewalt and Fredrick were. Okay, case closed. There's nothing else there that all corroborates everything they've said. She corroborates that. So, and what is the piece of evidence the state thinks has got them? What we got you because I can't see it.
Because there's not one. There's not one. That's why I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't make it make sense why they would indict on this information.
Yeah, it's
and why did the grand jury go along with it?
Well, I've told you that before. A lot of times the grand jury, people see that. I love it right now when now the Trump stuff's going on where they're like, oh, James Comey gets indicted or Letitia James. Let me tell you something. The grand jury will indict anything you tell them to, for the most part, most of the time.
Indict Randy Weingarten.
I mean, they'll indict, but I'm saying they will, you tell them, hey, we want these people indicted. And then you tell them, hey, we don't want these people indicted. Now, sometimes they don't always agree with you. It's rare, but it's easy to get an indictment. What's hard is getting a conviction. Getting an indictment ain't nothing. And I think people,
it ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing. It just, I used to have that argument with my former now deceased boss. I'm saying, look, he used to be like, oh, we got an indictment. I'm like, so what? That means nothing. You have to get 12 people to say and prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, I can go indict Ray, my dog, for something. If I want to take her to the grand jury, I'll just get my investigator to say something to the grand jury and then she's indicted. I mean, it's not something that's complex. So yeah, that doesn't shock me. I mean, they can indict anybody they want to. The fact is what happens once you do indict it. And that's the dilemma for the state here. And
you can indict whoever you want to, but it needs to be somebody worthy of an indictment.
Well,
because there's no recourse, right?
What do you mean?
So if this gets dismissed, I mean, they've lost their jobs. They've lost a large amount of income. They've had their names run through the mud all over the media, making them look like killers.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do to get compensated for that? There's nothing, right?
I mean, the only thing you could do, as far as I know, is if you were convicted, like Anthony Fox was convicted, and obviously was wrongfully convicted, and he was able to, I think, recover money, just like Curtis Flowers and.
But
Kenny
even
Brewer
if you're not convicted,
if you're not convicted, that's what I'm trying to get at. If you're not convicted,
yeah.
then you don't have any civil recourse that I know of. Now, of course, I'm not versed in a lot of that part of the law. But as far as I know, if you're not, then you don't.
Because I think you should. This still drags out for years, and it, like you said, it can ruin your life.
Well, the problem is, though, there's a lot of people that are guilty that get found not guilty, and if we let the system, we let everybody sue because they got found not guilty. You see what I mean?
Let's just do the ones who really aren't guilty.
Yeah, that's easier. Yeah, it's easier said than done. That'd be
just let me decide.
I'll
be able to tell you.
But there's plenty of people. Like, I mean, should OJ have been able to sue the system because he was found not guilty? Like, no. I mean, we can't just. I get it. Like, I'd love it if Rhinewalt and Fredrick could get their money back, but unfortunately, that's just not the way the system works in that regard.
So because they gave of their time and possibly life to put on that badge and go out there and protect the city, now they just got screwed in the whole process, basically.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's
by doing their job.
Unfortunately, yes, that's true, and that sucks. And I hate that portion of it. Hopefully, they will. If they're, I think, hopefully, once they're exonerated from this, which I believe they will be, maybe they'll. A lot of people hire them for a better job.
I wouldn't want my job back if I were them. Yeah. I feel like I don't.
Well, let's tell Rhinewalt, Fredrick, go on a speaking You guys should become motivational speakers after this. That would be it. Go out there, go to a speaking tour, make $1 million, and
AG should take you with her when she speaks.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They could just go around, write a book, and. Anyway, we will be back on the next segment of the Lindsey Beckham Show. And, anyway, we will be back on the next segment of the Lindsey Beckham Show.
1039 WYAB. You know what's a nightmare? We've all seen that movie where the bad guy's coming and your gun jams up. Luckily, that's just a movie, but you can't take the chance it could happen to you in real life. Hey, y'all, I'm Therese Apel from Dark Horse Press, and I've written stories about a whole lot of situations where people needed their gun to work for them. So if yours is moody or likes to jam, you need to take it to Guns & Gear. Let their professional gunsmiths look at it and fix it so it'll work when you need it. They're the absolute best at what they do, and that's why I buy all my guns from them. That's Guns & Gear in Gluckstadt. Check them out today.
Ladies, tired of running on empty, sleepless nights, mood swings, stubborn weight, skin that has lost its glow? It is not just getting older. It is your body begging for help. Hey, y'all, I'm Morgan at Women's Wellness in Mississippi. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, we bring it all together. Hormone therapy, medical weight loss, and the latest, greatest aesthetic treatments like facials, lasers, Botox, and so much more. This is where wellness and beauty meet so that you can feel amazing inside and out. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, the best version of you is waiting right around the corner.
My name is Terry Parkinson. I'm with the Madison County Co-op in Canton. Hunters, we've got the deer food plot and attractants. The Madison County Co-op built a big following and then cultivated it over the years and try to be real competitive on our price and selections. What makes us what we are is you can come in the door, get your ticket and go to back, and we get you loaded and out of there. The Madison County Co-op in Canton, we're about a block southeast of the square. You want to get in there and get out, you come see us.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps. And more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions, at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
Hey, freedom lovers, Big River Ballistics in Morton is your one-stop shop for all your 2A needs. From suppressors to everyday carry pistols and everything in between, we've got the gear. Test it in our beautiful facility and stretch out your rifle on our 1,150-yard range. Memberships start at only $40 a month. And hey, veterans, first responders, military, you're getting 10% off everything, including memberships. Visit BigRiverBallistics.com. That's Big River Ballistics, where freedom fires. Big River Ballistics, Morton, Mississippi.
There's never been a better time to buy a new construction home in the city of Brandon at Hyde Park. Take advantage of builder incentives, including seller pay closing costs or rate buydowns that help you lower your payment by hundreds. Prices start at $299,000 at Hyde Park. These beautiful homes offer LVP flooring, gas fireplace, and 2-car garages, all backed by a wonderful builder's warranty. Hey, I'm Brad Burleson with UList Realty, and I'd love to show you around Hyde Park anytime. Give us a look at our website, ulistms.com, or simply Google Hyde Park Brandon.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris at Fannin Mart on the Res is quickly becoming Rankin County's go-to spot for pizza, burgers, pasta, appetizers, daiquiris, and more. Try their famous Wheel of Flavor pizza. You can add up to 3 different specialty pizzas onto one pie, such as the Margarita, Sergeant Pepperoni, Acme Beet Buster, Pig, Pesto Chicken, the Old Mexico, the Supreme, or hey, just build your own custom pizza. Acme also has a full bar with 9 different frozen daiquiris to choose from. Open daily at 4 p.m. Acme Pizza and Daiquiris.
Hello, this is Kamisha Mumford. As a proud graduate of Mississippi State University and Mississippi College School of Law, as an attorney and a judge, I understand that working across the aisle is better than divisive rhetoric. I'm running to improve public safety, to protect our public retirement system, and to improve our aging infrastructure. On Tuesday, November 4th, vote Kamisha Mumford for Senate District 26.
Paid for by friends of Kamisha Mumford.
And we're back for the last segment of the Lindsey Beckham Show, where we've been talking about the Capitol Police and the AG's office and what were they thinking, and we can't figure it out. And that's been the whole theme of the show. It's the craziest crap that we've ever seen in terms of indictment locally. I don't know. I've seen a lot of indictments that are really messed up locally too. So I can't use that like. Yeah, I don't know if I could go. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's my top 10 of stupidity, I would say. Definitely. Maybe top 5 of stupid indictments that I've seen before.
It's pretty wild.
Yep.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I don't know who was behind it. It's really hard for me to believe Lynn Fitch would be the one to make that call, looking at what we know to be there. It just
as Harry Truman once said and had on his desk, the buck stops here. And
right. I mean, she's the boss, so it comes back to her regardless, right?
And
but
she can stop it right now. She can stop the pain. Like she can do that.
And I think it would be less embarrassing if she did stop it now before, a directed verdict or whatever would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be. I think she would. I think that would be a good thing if she were able to. Just say, "Hey, look, we're out of this. We're dismissing both of these cases: the manslaughter involving Jaylen Lewis and the aggravated assault involving Sinatra Moore." I think that would be an appropriate thing to do.
And let them go back to living somewhat of a normal life. I mean, this has been hell on these families.
Yeah. I mean, and hopefully she sees the media reports out there, things change, the narrative change, and hopefully I can't imagine what the reaction of law enforcement is to her right now. Like, I would think that all those guys all over the state are like, you know what I mean? It's gotta be really bad. Like, and you're the attorney general. So you're supposed to be kind of like, de facto head of that. They like everybody hates you now, like because of this. I mean, I
imagine a lot of them don't have a lot of trust for her at this point.
I mean, that's one thing I learned about Mississippi politics is you don't want to piss off the cops. That's like a good thing to learn. Like, don't do that because they all unite very, very strongly, and it's not a good thing. And especially when you're like I said, in a role of law enforcement, like a prosecutorial role, like you don't want it. That's why, like when there was cop prosecution, I was like, I'm out. Like, I'm not dealing with this because I mean, I just don't want to be involved in that kind of stuff. So, but hopefully, maybe she'll see that and and she'll enter a null pros, Miss Fitch. We'd really all appreciate that. Anyway, Lindsey will see you tomorrow, and I will be back sometime next week, probably. Bye.
Bye.